Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, the Crypt Keeper. And you're listening to Three Guys in a Flick. The good, the bad, and the gruesomely absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Every town has an Elm Street.
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from Springfield, Ohio, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Heidi ho.
And to my left, where the fuck is the professor?
I don't know. I keep seeing him drive by the house over and over again.
Well, I guess when he gets bored, he'll stop.
Oh, maybe. I think he just doesn't want to review this movie.
Well, part of me can't really blame him.
No.
So, but the part of me that loves this franchise, let's go for it anyway. Tonight we are talking about Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare, which is also a Nightmare on Elm Street 6. This brings us closer to finishing the series. We said that we wanted to get this done in 2026, so we're knocking one out early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully getting rid of this one as quick as possible.
Out of the Pantheon, this is your least favorite? Okay, well, let's set... The remake doesn't count.
Remake doesn't count.
Okay.
This is bottom. This is the worst.
Is it?
Yeah. And I mean, all this movie was New Line being upset about number 5, how bad it did, thinking we're just going to do a quick cash grab and end the series, even though this is the franchise that built New Line.
I know. And for me, it is second to the bottom. I think this one, I will watch this one over 5 in a heartbeat.
Mm. Well, my reasoning is that at least 5, if 5 wasn't a great movie, but at least it had a story and at least it still fit into the whole, franchise story, storyline pathos of Freddy. I mean, it kind of built on the legend of Freddy. This one, there was nothing good about it. I mean, nothing.
Well, that is where you and I will disagree. Released on September 13th, 1991, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare was directed by Rachel Talalay. Screenplay by Michael DeLuca. Story by Rachel Talalay. Based on characters by the late, great Wes Craven. And it stars The Man, Robert Englund, Lisa Zane, Sean Greenblatt, Leslie Dean, Breckin Meyer, Yaphet Kotto, and a bunch of other victims.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for $11 million and brought in $35 million.
Apparently, it is the third biggest opening of all the series.
Yeah, people were fucking stoked. They wanted this, especially after 5.
Yeah, and I was excited for a Final Nightmare, for the end of Freddy, but
that's why it made $35 million. Yeah. I'm with you. Did you see this in the theater?
Yes.
Of course, me too. Okay, so it's 1991. Let's think back, right? We have all of this hype wanting to see The Final Nightmare.
How are they finally going to do it?
And I still have a bad taste in my mouth about 5. I don't know if you do at the time, but I know I definitely do. And then when I watched it, I remember leaving the theater and going, oh, fuck.
Even the 3D was like, they hyped up because it's New Line's first 3D movie, and they hyped it up, and it was so bad.
I disagree with you. Back in the day in 1991, when I saw it in the theater, I thought it was pretty fucking cool. It was a step above like Friday the 13th 3D and a step down of like Spy Kids.
Well, how does it compare to Jaws 3D?
I think it's better than Jaws 3D, for sure.
I just thought it was so obvious, and like even she puts her hand out in front of her.
Well, yeah, that's how you had to do it back then. Do you not remember
and it
watching
was so
old 3D movies?
CGI. Oh,
Oh, look at you. Yeah, interesting. Rachel Talalay, the director.
she had been a producer on, I guess, some of the other movies, and they decided to finally give her chance to direct this movie.
I think one of the positives to come out of this film is this story. She was a PA on the first one.
Yeah.
And she had worked with Roger Corman and John Waters early on. And so everyone loved her. And she has been on every single Elm Street to this point. And she goes to Bob Shea and says, hey, can I direct this one? And they said yes. And it's a really cool story because a lot of the crew that worked on this one has been working throughout the series. And so when you have a crew like that, it becomes more of like a family. And so I can imagine that the atmosphere on the set was probably awesome. And interestingly enough, they had 2 drafts submitted for the plot.
So two, and then this was the third. So there was 2 other plots.
I'm not sure which.
We'll go over 'em.
I'm talking about Peter Jackson's plot,
Peter Jackson, there was one other.
and then what was the other one?
The other one was supposed to be Jacob was going to come back as the Dream Master, and somehow he was going to pull in all the Dream Warriors to fight Freddy to death.
That was kind of part of this script, the one that got chosen. Because the one that gets chosen, the one that we see, went through like 18 writers. And so Jacob coming back was definitely part of that. However, what I would have loved to seen was Peter Jackson's version.
Yeah, it sounded interesting.
And we've mentioned this on previous podcasts, we'll get there when we get to 6. And guess what? We're at 6. Do you know what it was about?
It was supposed to be Freddy has become so weak that kids are throwing slumber parties, drinking, doing drugs, going into the dreams and kicking Freddy's ass. But then apparently he kills one of them and brings back fear to Springwood.
Yeah. And there's a cop in it who's in a coma and who's trapped in the dream worlds. And so he can't escape. And I guess that was going to be the protagonist. And I think, and I could be making this up, maybe that was going to be Jacob. But anyways, Talalay, Shea, and the rest of New Line decided to go a different way and hire one of the writers from 5, Michael DeLuca. And yeah, this is what we got.
Did you look up what other movies Talalay has done?
I know that she's done Tank Girl, and I know that she did some episodes of Doctor Who, and there's a couple more films that she did.
The films that I found were Ghost in the Machine, Tank Girl, A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. All 3. I liked Tank Girl, but all 3 were bombs at the box office.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much with the material.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look back on it now and watching it how I watched it last night, I could tell that this was her first time directing. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the performances, not that they had a lot to work with, kind of suffered for it. And there are just a lot of things about this film that you kind of have to scratch your head on.
I just felt, again, I know I already called it a cash grab, that this movie was just thrown together to basically get a movie out there and end the series. There wasn't really any purpose to this movie. I mean, other than that.
Well, no, the purpose was to kill off Freddy. But yes, definitely a cash grab. Bob Shea has said as much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We've said this on the other podcasts. Never Sleep Again, a fantastic documentary on all of the Elm Street movies. So check it out.
Let's talk about the cast.
All right. Let's get out of the way. The man.
Love Robert Englund. I think he's fantastic. Not his best Freddy performance. It was, we've talked about how each one has gotten a little bit more comical, a little more slapstick. This was pure cartoon slapstick for most of the movie.
Which was intentional. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
So instead of making Freddy horror on his last trip out, they turn him into Looney Tunes, which is what they literally say. We wanted to make it like Looney Tunes.
He doesn't.
I felt like he phoned it in. I mean, he doesn't get off his ass to kill anybody, really. And he just has the dumbest one-liners in any of the Elm Street movies. No, not my favorite Freddy by far.
Did you catch that he never killed anyone in this movie with the claw?
No, I did not catch that because, well, yeah, no, I didn't catch that. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and that's like the big thing with Freddy. I mean, that's his claw.
Which kind of leads me back to the director and the writer who have been with the series from the get-go. You would have thought that she would have, I don't know, tied it all together better.
Yeah.
But so
I kept hoping. I remember when I was sitting in the theater, I kept hoping we would see the return of somebody. We'd see, some connection to the previous movie. Because Nancy in 3, that blew my mind. I was waiting for that. I was hoping desperately for that for this movie.
Yeah, this movie definitely could have used that moment. That is for sure. You know who stood out in this cast that I don't remember actually really liking from the first time I saw it? Yaphet Kotto.
Which is funny because, you realize this is our second, actor from Alien in 2 weeks.
What was last week? Tell me.
Who was in last week's movie? Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy. I went to Greyhound. Yeah, John Hurt.
John Hurt. So we got 2 legends from Alien.
Maybe next week we'll get something with Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, maybe.
But
anyway, he was a big stand. I felt like he was the big actor they put to this to give it a little bit of credential.
I would agree with that. But I liked his character as Doc. I liked how he was the conveniently placed know-it-all of dreams, which for the audience, he kind of spells it out for you. But I liked his insertion, and I liked his character.
Well, I felt like his whole purpose in previous movies, they had storyline that they had to get through to explain certain things to us. They skipped all of that by just having him tell us.
Yeah.
This is how he got his powers. Here's what these dream demon sperm things are.
Well, not him per se yet, but yes, I hear what you're saying. Who else in this cast?
There was Lisa Zane playing Freddy's daughter, Catherine Kruger, Maggie. Didn't care for her much.
Yeah, Lisa Zane I felt was kind of flat, and I appreciated what the character was, and I thought it was a clever twist, I guess, if you will, that I didn't see coming back in 91, him having a daughter. But yeah, she was just kind of flat.
The other person that jumped out at me was Breckin Meyer. This was his first feature film he ever did.
Yeah, and he plays the token stoner.
Which he didn't seem that much like a stoner. He seemed pretty there for being a stoner.
Yeah, well, not when he was looking at the TV and stuff. That was more like LSD.
I was
not
thinking,
weed.
I'm like, he did mushrooms or something.
Or something, yeah, for sure.
But he went on to do, Robot Chicken. He's been in hundreds of movies.
Clueless. He was in fucking Clueless. Yeah. What did you think of Leslie Dean as Tracy?
Well, considering she was 26, none of these kids looked like teenagers at all.
Oh, fuck off. The entire series is like that. Yeah. Don't start pointing that out now.
But she was okay, but she just seemed like she was,
overacting,
and she was purposely trying to be like
Taryn,
a combination of Taryn and
Alice.
Taryn and Kincaid. She was just the angry teenager who they gave us a little bit of background, but not much. I guess this movie used to be a lot longer, and they cut a lot of the background scenes of these kids.
Yeah, and thank God, because I mean, with what Tracy's going through, we get it. We don't need to see it. Yeah, I thought the character's heart was in the right place. I liked that she was a survivor, that she wasn't afraid of Freddy. But she was just a little bit overacty for me, which I think goes back to Talalay's first directing job.
Well, one thing I found out is Robert Englund had directed a movie called 976 Evil. She was in that movie with him. So I'm guessing that's one of the reasons why she got this role is, Robert Englund brought her in for this movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I was listening to another review on my way here, and they brought up a good point. What did she do to deserve to survive this movie? Did you think she should have survived, or do you think she should have been another Freddy kill?
I thought she should have been the final fight.
Yeah.
Not boring old Maggie. No, I started thinking about it. Far too many people live at the end of this movie, but then I go back and start thinking about it. Almost the same amount live through the rest of them.
Well, in 5, 3 died. In 6, 3 died.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it.
I think the most body count is like only 4, though, if you think about it. He doesn't really have a high body count. I mean, he does from the newspapers.
Well, do you count the gerbil dying, even though it's off screen?
Sure.
And the mom dying?
But what do you mean? Count as on-screen deaths or as body count? Because it's from the past, right? So it's already happened, and you can, I suppose, if you were counting deaths. So yeah. Anyone else in this cast?
No, nobody really stuck with me. I didn't even care about this John Doe, who they never even told us who he really was.
He reminded me of a young Jim Carrey, Sean Greenblatt, from the opening shot when they're in the plane to when he dies, just his mannerisms and his hair, and he kind of looked like Jim Carrey. So I was like, yeah. But
I think the best actor in this movie, I don't even know her name, was the little girl on the plane and who keeps appearing every so often.
Oh, the one who's little Maggie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was adorable.
Yeah, she was the best one in the movie.
And, I didn't realize, I've seen this movie a handful of times, I will admit. But last night when I was watching it was the first time that when she popped up in the airplane seat, I went, oh, that's little Maggie. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, Brian May does the score, and he also did the score for The Road Warrior. And I saw his name, and I was watching it, and I could hear remnants of The Road Warrior, especially when we were going into Freddy's mind in the 3D sequence. And then I had to look it up, and apparently that is not the Brian May from Queen.
Oh, it's not? Yes, I did read that.
I thought it was, and I think I said that in the Road Warrior episode, so anyone who called me a fucking dillhole, rightfully so. But I'm correcting that now, and no, he's an Australian composer. What did you think of the score?
I didn't really focus much on the score, but I did notice that they seem to have a love for the Goo Goo Dolls. There was 3 songs in there from the Goo Goo Dolls?
Oh, I lost count. But that was before the Goo Goo Dolls were the Goo Goo Dolls. This is such an early 90s film. Yeah. For sure.
A lot of the music, again, felt like when we talk about cash grabs, they just threw them in to help the artists.
Yes. And I think that the overall score was decent because it did, in fact, use the original Elm Street theme, which you have to do. And it felt like this movie was made up of bits and pieces of all the other films trying to pay homage and love for the final outing, and we lost focus of what we really wanted, which was a scary or anything other than this Freddy.
The 2 things I will say that stood out to me is Iron Butterfly, which apparently isn't even on the soundtrack album that you can get, and the Iggy Pop song.
Yeah. Speaking of Iggy Pop, what do you think of Alice Cooper as Freddy's dad?
I thought he was interesting. I thought it was fun that, he looked like
a total drunk.
But he agreed to do this as long as they didn't make him wear the Alice Cooper makeup. He wanted to be just himself in this movie.
Yeah.
And in his little part, he did pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that great scene right after where his kid holds the razor blade to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
3D, bitches.
The big thing with that, we'll get to that scene, but the lines in this movie are so bad. The little one-liners.
Oh, I know. I hear you.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah. Didn't see that coming. But one of the worst lines in the entire film is in the first 2 minutes of it. So,
do you want to go into trivia?
Yeah, we can do some trivia. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of questions, but we can.
I got a few I can throw out. We'll see. We're going to test your Freddy trivia
and your Freddy knowledge.
Because how closely did you watch this movie?
Pretty closely, and I've seen it a bunch of times. Question number 1. When Maggie brings Freddy out of her dream, Doc is holding a weapon in anticipation. What is that weapon?
Wasn't it like a board or a piece of wood?
No. They were nunchucks.
He was holding nunchucks?
Yeah.
Ah.
I started laughing when I saw that.
In the scene where Bob Shea is cameoing in the little ticket booth and he hands John Doe the bus ticket, what is the name of the bus line?
Sunshine Bus?
Accidental Tours.
Accidental Tours. Nice.
when they're driving through the town and they pass the little statue of a kid, looks like a little Boy Scout or whatever. What does the sign on the kid's statue say?
Oh, children were here? I don't fucking know.
The children shall endure.
The children shall endure.
Okay,
Nice.
this one's a little tougher. This is going to be like a 4-parter. They do not do the nursery rhyme. They do not say the nursery rhyme in this movie, but it's written in different places. What are each of the places? There's 1 and 2, 3, 4, etc. So where are they found throughout the movie?
Okay, so 9:10 is as she's walking in the rain on the in the newspaper thing.
Newspaper, correct.
7, 8 doesn't exist. Oh fuck, dude! I knew her. Isn't there one on the wall in white? 3, 4 is on the wall, painted on the wall. And 1, 2 is.
This one you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, I know. 1, 2 is in the classroom.
No. 1, 2 is the chalk drawing on the ground.
Oh, that's right.
They walk by, and it correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the little girl was drawing that like throughout the whole movies and finally finished it for this movie. But 1, 2 is the drawing on the ground. 3, 4 is the high school wall, or the wall outside the high school. So you were right on that.
Thank
5,
you.
6 is on the classroom map when he pulls down the map.
Oh, 5, 6.
And you're right. There is no 7, 8 in the movie. I don't know why they skipped over that one.
Oops.
Well, one theory that I read was never sleep again. They didn't need that anymore because everyone was trying to stay awake and there were no kids left to sleep again. So they cut that one out.
That's dumb.
It's a really dumb. And 9:10, you're absolutely right. It was on the newspaper, in the newspaper rack in the rainy alley.
Nice.
Final one. In what year did they take away Freddy's kid?
I didn't look that closely.
It was actually in the classroom scene, written up on the chalkboard.
1794.
1966. They took his kid away, or took away his kid.
Huh. Which, through the process of elimination, none of those kids were his fucking kid. Did you
This week's winner is Dawn.
Well, that's because, yeah. Where the fuck is the professor?
So I think he just passed by again.
Oh, shit, there he goes. Hey! Well, when he runs out of gas, I guess he'll be out of gas. Set 10 years in the future, Freddy Krueger has returned and wiped out nearly every child and teenager in Springwood, Ohio. The town is effectively dead. The only apparent survivor is a teenage boy known only as John Doe, who is attacked by Freddy in a dream and awakens just outside the Springwood city limits with a head injury and no memory of who he is. John is taken to a shelter for troubled youth run by Dr. Maggie Burrows. There, he meets 3 residents: Spencer, a wealthy stoner rebelling against his controlling father; Carlos, who was physically abused by his mother and left partially deaf; and Tracy, a tough, guarded girl who survived sexual abuse by her father. The 3 plan to run away to California. Maggie discovers a newspaper clipping about Springwood in John's pocket and believes returning there may help restore his memory. She plans a road trip back to the town, unaware that Tracy, Spencer, and Carlos secretly stow away in the van. Just outside of Springwood, John experiences a terrifying hallucination and nearly crashes the vehicle, confirming Freddy's presence is still strong.
So this movie opens up with 2 quotes. First, we get this Nietzsche quote. It's an interesting quote, but kind of a weird place for it. And then we get the quote from number 3.
Welcome to primetime, bitch. Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're throwing everything at the wall here. And I noticed as the credits are starting, the song sounds very reminiscent of how 4 started.
Mm-hmm.
Just that kind of same vibe. Not the same artist. I don't think it's Tuesday Night who was in 4. But yeah, so I kind of got that feeling right away. And then we open up on a plane. And my first thought is, fuck that noise. I fly too much to be watching movies about fucking plane crashes.
It kind of felt very Final Destination to me.
Oh, sure.
But I did like how, he's all nervous and he's all stressed out. And I like the woman next to him.
Don't be such a pussy.
When he says he's afraid of heights, and then she just gets sucked right out of the plane.
Yeah, you kind of had to see that coming.
So the movie kind of started out with a little bit of promise. I thought, that was a funny scene. I mean, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Especially that woman, the shock value of just her telling him, don't be a pussy.
Yeah, and we start off in a dream, because that's the rule. You got to start off in a dream. And the lady gets sucked up out of the airplane, and then he gets sucked down, and he starts falling, and he wakes up.
Yeah. And this is where the shit hits the wall.
This is kind of where, I kind of agree with you here. And I know the dream's not over. I don't know how I know, but they didn't do a really good job.
Because you've seen the other movies.
Yeah. And so he goes, and now we're in the Wizard of Oz, and the house is falling.
Which is funny because I guess the rights to the original book had come up at the time. And so they were able to use Wizard of Oz elements in this movie, with one exception. The scene that they use with him flying on the broom saying, I'll get you, my little pretty, and your soul too, that was from the movie, which the rights had not come available yet. So there's a very good chance, I haven't found the information, that they were sued over that.
Oh, there was a couple things that Bob Shea was going to get sued over, but just didn't give a fuck because he wanted it to be over and wanted that money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we get the stupid quote, the Wizard of Oz thing. That's what I think is the worst one-liner in this entire flick.
I do have one other, but
I'm sure it's a doozy, but we'll get there. And so now we know that John Doe is still in a dream, and we come to realize that Freddy needs him. And Freddy needs him to get out of Springwood and bring him some more souls or something. Well, at least that's what we're kind of told.
We had gotten the information early on that there was suspected one survivor and that this is the last kid of Elm Street. So we're immediately just thrown into, this is the last kid. He needs to use this guy to somehow get to other people.
Right, because we're 10 years from now is what it says.
One other thing I wanted to point out is on the plane ride, the little girl that comes up in the seat, we find out later is little Maggie. She foreshadows the whole movie. She basically tells him right away, he's going to use you to get to other kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not foreshadowing. She's telling him.
She's just telling him right away, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And apparently this kid has no memory, right? He has amnesia.
Well, I think he loses. At this point, I think he still has his memory. I think when he falls and hits his head on the rock, that's what gives him the amnesia.
And so this is kind of our real first glimpse of Freddy and what we're going to get. And he's driving a fucking bus.
Second time he's driven a bus.
Which is probably a nod, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then John Doe gets stuck to the front, and then the whole Freddy hits the brakes. John Doe goes flying and rips through the fabric of reality. What do you think of that?
Well, this bus scene was my first indication we were watching a Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah,
this was going to be this is going to be as slapstick as possible.
Yeah, and it absolutely was. And then we cut to the shelter, and we're introduced to our band of merry characters. And I have to say, they're not my least favorite group of teenagers, but they're definitely not the best. What'd you think of the three, Carlos, Spencer, and Tracy?
I would put them at the bottom of my list. I didn't feel any connection to any of them. I don't think their roles were acted very well. Tracy, as you mentioned, overacted. She was just the uber tough girl. But I was just waiting for the three of them to get it. Yeah. I thought they would just be gone quick.
Yeah, and it's the total cliche of the of the therapist coming in, saving Tracy from getting in trouble, talking to, we get introduced to Doc, and he tells her conveniently about this new poster he got about dream demons. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's coming back around. And we find out that, Doc specializes in dreams and he's helping the children.
Which is funny because this isn't, Elm Street. This is still in Springwood. I believe, but this is not Elm Street, which means none of these kids have had any experience with Freddy. None of these kids probably have the bad dreams.
No, they're not in Springfield at all.
Springwood.
They're not in Springwood at all.
So why do they need the dream specialist at the shelter?
Because it helps them with their therapy. He believed, she even calls him a hippie, right? That dream therapy can help in any type of trauma situation.
Because he keeps trying to help her too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then John Doe shows up. And Maggie goes to talk to him. And this is where What's-His-Face has his first dream, because he's been trying to stay up, right? Yeah. This whole motif of he can't sleep. We've seen it before.
You got some Coke?
The soda I meant.
They had to clarify.
The writing in this is just so top notch. The first two acts of this film are absolute fucking trash. And since we're only in the first act, let's get through it. So John Doe is in the room and him and Maggie are talking. What do you think about that whole interaction?
We always have to have that scene where we get the connection, where she's starting to realize that the things he's talking about, the things that they found in his pockets connect to her dreams, which means now she's going to have to take a special interest in John Doe.
Right. And up until this point, I don't think it's called out that Freddy could have a kid, but when it does, they think it's John Doe. So,
did you think it was John Doe at any time?
Not for 1 second.
No, I got the feeling from earlier on that Freddy, can't leave that area, so he's trying to use this kid to bring somebody back to him.
Yeah, and I kind of have a problem with that, because if you're given this power by dream demons to do whatever you want, you just can't leave the city limits. Mm-hmm. That's kind of horse shit, right? Okay, anyways.
So we also know that the three kids are plotting something, that they're going to run away. They're somehow going to get away. And we get, Maggie is going to take John Doe back to Springwood, back to the area to see if she can discover who he is. But secretly, she's just using him to try to figure out what's going on with her dreams and her background.
Well, yeah, because I think she suspects that they are connected. Mm-hmm. And so maybe she wants some answers now. What'd you think of Carlos being deaf?
All I kept thinking that was just another setup for some way Freddy was going to kill him.
Yeah, and I'm going to call it out right now. One of my favorite deaths in the entire series.
Robert Englund's favorite death as well. He said that was his favorite death of the series.
Oh, it's so good. It could have been so much more, but it was so good. Anyways.
We'll get to that. So the next thing we have is basically Maggie driving the van with John Doe to Springwood. And of course, in the seat next to him, you see John Doe falling asleep, which means Freddy's coming.
And then you see the little girl. He sees the little girl, and he tries to swerve, and Maggie's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they skid out and come to a stop. And then that's when the three stowaways show up.
Well, I keep thinking this little girl, I don't think Freddy is controlling her at all. I think she is some element put in there to try to stop him, like that. Her standing in front of the truck, I think, our van, she was trying to stop them from going any further.
Maybe that is certainly a possibility. I don't know if Freddy's controlling her either. I think she is kind of just
she's like the Amanda Kruger from 3.
Sure, yeah, but we have to learn more about as we go along. And after the stowaways are discovered, I like how Maggie's like, we got to find a phone and we got to call Kelly, tell him where you're at, and then we got to get you back as soon as possible. And I'm thinking, turn the van around and go back.
I keep thinking, okay, so you have 3 kids who snuck into the van, hid, were trying to run away. oh, the best, most responsible thing you can do is give them the keys and expect them to drive home.
I love that.
Drive
too.
back to the shelter.
Yeah, when they get to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once in Springwood, the teens attempt to leave again, but stop to rest at the abandoned 1428 Elm Street. Meanwhile, Maggie and John visit the Springwood orphanage, where they uncover a shocking secret. Freddy Krueger has a child. John becomes convinced he is that child, believing Freddy spared him for that reason. Back at the Elm Street house, Spencer and Carlos fall asleep and are brutally killed by Freddy in elaborate dream sequences. Tracy narrowly survives after Maggie wakes her. John enters the dream world to try and save Spencer but fails and remains trapped asleep. Maggie and Tracy take John back toward the shelter. While dreaming, Freddy confronts John one final time and reveals the truth. His child is a girl. Freddy kills John, but not before John passes this revelation to Maggie. Back at the shelter, reality begins to unravel. No one remembers John, Spencer, or Carlos except Doc, who has learned to control his dreams. Maggie discovers her adoption records and realizes the horrifying truth. She is Freddy's daughter, born Catherine Krueger, and renamed after Freddy was arrested and murdered.
So this is a scene, I think, where probably the best line of the movie, or best Freddy whatever in the movie for me, was Carlos in the back of the van trying to deal with the map. And he's like unfolding. I kept thinking, where's the GPS on his phone?
Yeah, hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, but the map just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it finally just shows the words, "You're fucked."
And I think this is more of a respectful way to do a dream sequence, if that makes any sense. Because just the sheer madness of trying to unfold this map is a nightmare. But the "you're fucked" is a brilliant touch that could have worked in a much scarier film, or it kind of works here. But it was one of those moments of levity where I did have to chuckle, because as soon as he sees it, Carlos immediately wakes up. And they're like, what did the map say? What did the map say? And he's like,
"You're fucked."
So there you go.
Yeah, and I thought that to me was the one thing that got, I think, a giggle out of me in this movie.
Yeah. But first, they get to the carnival.
Oh, which is like this town carnival, whatever, where apparently the town has no more kids and they don't like kids, yet they're throwing a carnival for kids.
I don't know so much that they don't like kids.
But they all see, because they, even Tom Arnold makes mention of, that they just bring him.
Yes, but I mean, the town is going through a psychosis. And they are pretending like nothing is wrong. They have a classroom with no students, but the teacher teaching. They got the daycare lady, and they're having this carnival.
They're all batshit crazy.
Pretty much. What did you think of Roseanne and Tom Arnold's cameo here?
Apparently, they were huge fans of the series, so they probably begged and pleaded to be in the movie. It was, I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, it's them. But it was just gratuitous and wasn't even needed.
Yeah, no, I agree. And apparently the day turned into way longer than Roseanne was expecting. Mm-hmm. And so the director said that Roseanne wasn't very happy with the experience.
Roseanne, I thought, did an okay job. I mean, it could have been acted better. Tom Arnold was just over the top in his trying to play this redneck hick or whatever it was.
And again, I think it comes down to directing. I think everybody overacted in this movie, except for Robert Englund. He underacted.
Yeah. I do know that Leslie Dean, she actually said that that was the best part of making this movie, is meeting them, because they were really nice, down-to-earth people.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So they're at this carnival and they start to leave. And this is where Maggie's like, here are the keys. Go back to the shelter. And I'm thinking, well, what the fuck are you guys going to do? Let's say you go to this school. Let's say you find some answers. Are you not ever going back?
Yeah, did they just walk the whole town?
Actually, yeah. But apparently it's only 2 miles. When they left the shelter, it said Springwood, 2 miles.
Yeah.
So anyways, and so we get a nightmare sequence, if you will, with the kids going in circles.
That's the question I had is now Freddy becomes so powerful that he can control reality outside the dream. Like, how is he trapping them in Springwood?
And I kept trying to figure out which one of them was asleep that would keep them doing this, but I couldn't tell. So I'm assuming they were awake. And yes, Freddy must have magical powers because they go through this montage of Tracy and Spencer arguing which direction.
Turn left, turn right, go straight.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me, and the biggest complaint that I have, and a lot of the reviews I read on this, that there were no obvious whether they're in the dream or not in the dream, like you were just saying. They were combining both reality and the dream.
Yeah. Like I said, the first 2 acts of this movie, horse shit.
Maybe the fact that the whole town was experiencing this psychosis meant that the town itself had gone to sleep, and that Freddy was controlling the town.
Oh, that is such a nice way of saying that.
In other words, it's horseshit.
In other words, it's horseshit. And in the meantime, we get the classroom scene. Mm-hmm. Those scenes could have been creepy, and they kind of were weird.
They
right?
just made them dirty and dusty. And
well, I mean, the guy teaching was doing the little nursery rhyme and telling us things. And then, but what I thought was creepy was the orphanage. When they go talk to the lady at the orphanage, and she says, or Maggie looks at her and she goes, "I was here." And that's when I'm like, oh, it's fucking Maggie. Maggie's his daughter. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh, giving Freddy a daughter. Interesting. Let's see where this goes. And so they have this revelation, or Maggie kind of thinks it's bullshit because this lady is also cuckoo pants, and she's saying, and I remember you and you and you and you and you. So really, not going anywhere. Can't find any clues. And now it's night, and the kids are still doing fucking circles in the van.
And of course, they stop at an abandoned house,
which on the outside looked really nice.
Yeah.
Then they go inside, and naturally,
this I thought was kind of a cool effect where it turns into Nancy's house.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's Freddy's house.
That, I don't think I caught that. Maybe it's just been so long since I've seen the movie. I didn't catch that until they go out into the backyard and see the water tower. And I went, oh, now it makes sense why he's so obsessed with that house. That was supposed to be his house too.
Yeah. So real quick, in one, the Thompsons, Nancy, okay, her parents are responsible or part of the mob that kills Freddy, right? Mm-hmm. So as the police sheriff who kills Freddy, he turns around and then says, hey, you know what? I want to buy that house.
I'll bet you they got it dirt cheap.
Oh, fuck that noise. And so we're in the Elm Street house again, a nice familiar place to be. We also have the tricycle out front, which is a nod to 3. We get the Elm Street tune. So I'm kind of thinking, all right, we haven't had any deaths. It's been fucking bullshit from here. Let's see what happens. And, you get the whole, I'm going to go to sleep.
Would you have slept in the bed that Carlos finds?
I think Carlos puts it best. Beats the streets.
I guess that's a good point.
You know what I mean? it was a little dusty for sure. And so, yeah, Carlos is the first to fall asleep. Now let's talk about Carlos's death.
Well, first of all, this felt to me, and I don't know if it's happened in other movies, but normally the kids find out about Freddy, then they start getting visitations from Freddy. None of these kids going to sleep knew anything about Freddy.
They were about to be blindsided.
So they're kind of blindsided by this burnt up guy in their dream.
Yeah. I thought that this was a very clever way to dispose of Carlos. He's in his dream and he sees his mama.
And we find out why he's deaf.
Could you imagine? That Q-tip goes all the way through his fucking head.
And when he makes the comment, it kind of breaks your heart a little bit when he makes the comment of, don't make me deaf, mama.
Yeah. Yeah. But she doesn't care because it's actually Freddy cleaning out his ears.
Yeah.
And then Freddy takes his hearing aid, slices his ear, and just kind of fucking with him. right? And now I like the effect when he doesn't have his hearing aid and it's just his heartbeat.
And did you like Freddy in the background dancing around, doing the Looney Tunes kind of thing, but dancing around and fucking with him?
No. I thought it would have been so much more creepy if he was just silent and just following him. In my head, I think that would have been...
It could have been, it could have been creepy as hell if they just kind of peeked out from behind him as he walked.
Yeah, or not even had to peek because he's deaf,
Or
right?
had the claw kind of going over him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But what fucking killed it was Freddy breaks the fourth wall. Did you notice that? Carlos turns and Freddy turns to the camera and puts his glove up to his mouth and goes, shh.
Tells us shush.
You broke the fourth wall, you fucking cocksucker. Anyways.
But then Carlos says, give me back my hearing. And so Freddy throws him
his hearing aid.
And of course it becomes a spider-like thing.
What'd you think of this whole upcoming thing?
This was a unique way to fuck with someone. It was kind of like the monkey paw wish thing that, you wish for something and you get it back in spades. It's so much more than what you wanted. So now he's got super hearing.
I love this bit.
And I love he drops the pin, but Carlos catches it.
And then it cuts to Freddy and he drops a handful of pins. So devious.
Yeah.
So devious. What'd you think of the chalkboard?
Again, this movie just got too gimmicky for me. It got too Looney Tunes, too cartoony. It was very cartoony to me. It was interesting. It felt desperate, like they were trying to come up with more ways for Freddy to have unique kills.
I thought it was a great idea. Fingernails on a chalkboard to make your head explode. But the way he did it was very cartoony, I agree. It's almost like he was humping the chalkboard.
Yeah.
And then because they couldn't show a lot of blood, they wanted to have the big gimmick effect, but they didn't have the money and they were fighting the rating or something. But his head explodes, but it looks like confetti.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay.
And then what really bothered me about this scene is Freddy always has to have his one-liners. Well, first of all, the kid's head's blown off, so he's not going to hear the one-liner. And he says, I'll be hearing you. Or what's he say about Carlos?
I'll be hearing from you, maybe?
I'll be hearing from you, something like that. Too easy. I mean, it just... You're saying that to a guy whose head just got blown off.
No, he's saying it to you, the audience, because he just spiked you a few seconds ago by telling you to...
Yeah.
So back in reality...
This is another thing, too, is that in the previous movies, whenever he killed someone, the body was still there in real life. All these bodies are just disappearing.
Yeah, they can't find Carlos. Where's Carlos, right? Yeah. And so Tracy takes the van and goes to look, and she says, Spencer, come on, dude. But Spencer is being a hi-ho, and he's all types of stoned and watching a broken TV, but seeing different images.
There was something else in that joint there. That was not just typical marijuana.
My man was smoking some angel dust because it got really fucking trippy.
Yeah. That's when we get our Inagata Davida.
Needle drop.
Yeah. And the TV just starts going all kind of crazy. We also, first of all, we notice he's watching a broken TV set that he's seeing stuff on.
Right.
And we get our big cameo.
What'd you think of the cameo?
I thought it was interesting. It was fun to bring him back from the first movie.
Was he Johnny Depp or was he Glenn? What do you think?
I think he was supposed to be Johnny Depp because it was those old MTV commercials, whatever. This is your brain on drugs.
I know, but I mean, him being Glenn would have been kind of cool.
It would have been fun.
But it's fucking ruined.
By the pan to the face.
Well, not even the pan to the face. Pan to the face, you can go, ha-ha. But what does Freddy say after that? What are you on? It looks like a frying pan and eggs to me. Dumb.
Yeah, again, could have been better.
Dumb.
They could have just, they could have done the Zsa Zsa Gabor kind of thing where he kills, Glenn again.
Somebody. Right?
Yeah. Or he made some comment about, don't you have a waterbed?
Look at you rewriting Freddy's Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Tracy leaves and she runs into Maggie and
conveniently
John Doe. Well, yeah, there's the only two in the town apparently.
Yeah.
And they go back and this is really where it fell off the fucking rails for me.
Oh yeah.
This is probably the worst death of the entire series.
Which do you hate more?
Yeah.
This death or the comic book death from 5 with Super Freddy? I thought, because you had said previously you hated that scene.
I did hate that scene. Which one do I hate more? Oh, probably this one because it lasts just a little bit longer.
Not only does it last too long, not only is it just so, it felt like a commercial for Nintendo back then with the Power Glove and everything. But it was just the bouncing and everything. It just wasn't good. You're right. It went on too long.
It was dumb. You can say it. It was fucking dumb.
And
it goes from one of the best, most creative kills in the franchise to the worst in a matter of seconds.
And the fact they called this out in the plot here as a brutal, they die in a brutal way. He just falls into a hole.
Yeah.
At the end of this.
That's right. That's right. I did like the effect of Carlos being in the TV trying to warn him.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of clever.
I got the impression, too, that surrounding him, he was fighting his way through all the different souls.
Yes.
That are trapped.
Yes.
Because of Freddy.
I gathered the same thing. And so, in the meantime, John's like, I'm his kid. I can go in and I can fight him, a la Dream Warriors.
That's the reason why he let me live.
Yeah.
I must be his kid.
And he tells Tracy, knock me out. And Tracy's like, well, there's a easier way. And he's like, knock me out, bitch. And so she knocks him the fuck out. And I like how he gets knocked out and then he goes through the table.
Mm-hmm.
Very
through the
reminiscent.
table into the dream.
Yeah, very reminiscent to Nancy in 3 hitting her head, falling back into the chair and going through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they took all of the ideas and recycled them.
There are so many points in this movie that are just recycled from other movies or from previous movies.
Yeah. And so now John Doe's in the dream and then magically Tracy appears. I like that bit.
Where she just said, I told you there was an easier way.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, at least, and it even kind of caught me this time because I had trouble just remembering stuff, that was Freddy in disguise, that he was fucking with her.
Oh, yeah, could have been. I can see that. But I like the idea. I like the idea that they can control their dreams, a little Dream Warrior-ish, if you will, and that she wants to go in and help.
What's funny is they built her up to be this angry, combative, out of control character who happens to be able to meditate and go into dreams.
Yeah,
go into other people's dreams.
Because that's what Doc is teaching her. Oh. He only gets 23 minutes a day with these kids. So. And so they're in the dream and he's trying to protect Spencer, but it's too late. Freddy already has his power glove. He's fucking with Spencer. And I like how Tracy comes in and kicks it out of his hand. She's not afraid of Freddy.
Kicks the controller out of his hand, but then he closes the door on her and pulls out the power glove.
Yeah, which they wanted to call it a power glove and say, now you're playing with power. And Nintendo said, fuck no, guys. And Bob Shea said, I don't give a fuck. We're doing it anyway.
He still used the line.
Yeah, and I think sales skyrocketed for Nintendo. So I don't...
Did you have a power glove?
No. So I don't think they sued.
Yeah, I think everyone I ever talked to that owned one of those power gloves, which were like impossible to get at the time, they didn't work, and there was only a few games even out for them.
Yeah. And so Spencer's dead
because he just falls into a hole,
and the TV gets filled up with his blood, a la Johnny Depp. And so now Tracy and Maggie, they drag John Doe into the truck and they say, we got to get out of here. And now we're back in the dream and Freddy's kind of stalking John Doe. And John Doe's like, dude, you're not going to kill me, right?
Yeah, I know the truth. I'm your kid.
And we start over in the dream like it was in the beginning. Right, he's falling. He's in his house.
I did like how his whole thing of I'm not going to fall for this again.
Yeah, I mean he's calling it out at least.
And then he's like, "Oh fuck it, I got to do this."
Right, and
because the house lights on fire.
Oh yeah, he says there's nothing going to make me get out of this bed. Of course there is. And so now he's falling. He pulls his parachute, and we get Freddy. And they have this dialogue.
Did you see when they lowered Freddy down, you could see the wire lowering him?
Oh, no, I missed it.
Yeah, if you watch closely, you can actually see a wire.
Oh. And this is where he tells John Doe, dude, I just needed you to bring my daughter to me. So thanks for doing that, pal.
Yeah, I'm done with you.
And yeah.
And this, again, this is straight out of the Runner and Wile E. Coyote.
Stop it. You didn't like the bed of nails?
Or he cuts him and makes him fall. Like, the fall's not going to kill him. He's got to sit there and push out the nails to have him land. Has Freddy lost his mind too? Is he gone crazy?
He might have.
Like,
he might be, because there's no more kids. He's there twiddling his ding dong in Dreamland.
I feel like maybe he's been trying to be creative with every single one and has basically, has run out of ways to one up himself. So he's gone Looney Tunes.
Looney fucking Tunes. And so in the real world, John starts convulsing and, tripping out. And so they stop the van. And this is where he dies in Maggie's arms.
Because he gets all the holes in him from all the spikes.
Magically.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God. And we got to go. And this is where I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is going on? Freddy leaves the Dreamland and gets embedded in Maggie's head.
He goes into Maggie.
Right.
Which I guess the whole idea was he needed someone from his family line or whatever, someone who was related to him to be able to cross that border.
Which takes me back to, if you're getting unlimited powers by dream demons, why the fuck is there like a radius?
My guess was when he sold his soul to them, made this deal with them, it was to go after the Elm Street kids. And so that was the trade-off, is that he could go after this group of people, even though he said in previous movies, you're the last Elm Street kid, but he could go after this group in this town, but no further.
Yeah, no, that's a stretch.
I thought as he got more souls, he became more powerful, he could extend his reach.
Yeah. So back at the shelter, I like how Maggie is really not a good therapist. She's telling Tracy before they get out, just tell him that Carlos, Spencer, and John just ran away and we haven't seen them.
Yeah. But the interesting, again, here's another example of Freddy's power in reality. Everyone has forgotten about those other kids except for the doctor.
Right. Except for Doc.
And so basically, I thought Freddy would have more of a control over Maggie at this point, but we don't know anything about Freddy at this point, or what's going on with him being in her head, except for now they're all back at the shelter and Freddy has gotten out of that town.
And, Maggie's kind of struggling with some flashbacks that she's having. We see an early, what looked to be like 1950s, 1970s setting with the backyard. Little Maggie's running around. We see Dad. We hear him.
We hear the mother scream for the second time in this little dream sequence.
We know it's Freddy, right?
Yeah.
And then, what's her name? Tracy goes to sleep. And Freddy tries to get her by recreating her dad.
He seems to go into creepy dads a lot. Like, that's one of his motifs.
One of the motifs for this entire series is bad parenting. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've called it out a few times on this show. This, no different. Tons of bad parents. And, he was a creepy dad. He was a creepy dad. He was looking for some honey. And in Tracy's dream, she's like, fuck that noise. She grabs a toaster or something and just beats the living shit out of him.
I like how he comes back again and his face is all mangled.
But it looked dumb.
Yeah.
The prosthetic was bad. But then it turns into Freddy, and he's like, all right, let's fucking get it on. And we have a little back and forth combat, this, that, and the other, and he drops that one line.
Kung Fu this, bitch.
How come he didn't say that to Rick?
Him
and Rick were doing Kung Fu. She was just street fighting.
I kept wondering, was this the Kung Fu fight he was supposed to have with Rick?
Maybe Talalay found the script pages.
Yeah, but she was holding her own a little bit.
Which I liked, right? I liked her character.
She kicked him in his burned up nuts.
And then she does what Nancy did. She burns herself to wake up. And then Maggie runs in there and they're like, we got to go see the doc. We got to go get the doc, right? But what we didn't know was Doc was in the Dreamland and he's walking around and you're thinking, why the fuck is Doc in Dreamland?
I kept wondering, Freddy goes after kids. Why is he going into Doc's dream?
Okay, good question. And I will say this. This is where the movie turns for me. From here on out, I dig what they're doing. I know what they're trying to do. I know what it could have been. And I really do think their heart was in the right place. And I think that he was going after Doc because he's a threat for him to get to the kids. But what I love about this scene is the confrontation, and Freddy's telling him, you can do whatever you want. You can try. I mean, hell, they tried burning me. They tried burying me, and they tried holy water.
They even tried holy water.
And he's cutting off his fingers like he does in the first one with the green blood. So I thought, okay, that's a really nice nod. And then, Doc has this idea. He grabs his sweater. The alarm goes off. He wakes up, and it's the trope of we can pull shit out of our dream.
They go right back into number 1. He all of a sudden has Nancy's power.
And number 2.
Yeah.
Pulling Freddy out of the dream. Doc reveals that Freddy's immortality comes from dream demons who continually revive him, and that Freddy can only be destroyed if pulled into the real world. Maggie resolves to confront him herself. Entering the dream world, Maggie dons a pair of 3D glasses and journeys into Freddy's mind, witnessing his traumatic childhood, his abuse, self-harm, and eventual descent into murder. She learns that fiery demons granted Freddy his powers in exchange for his soul. Maggie manages to pull Freddy into the real world, where they engage in a brutal hand-to-hand combat. Using confiscated weapons from the shelter, Maggie disarms Freddy, rips off his glove, and stabs him through his stomach, pinning him to a steel support beam. Tracy tosses Maggie a pipe bomb, which she throws into Freddy's chest. The demons burst out of him. Unable to save him in the real world, Freddy is finally destroyed. As the dust settles, Maggie, Tracy, and Doc celebrate the ending of the nightmare, Maggie declaring once and for all, Freddy's dead. Roll credits. So this is the start of our third act. And we were explained either here or earlier that there's dream demons. And the poster is kind of like the gateway. And Doc says, I pulled this out of the dream, and it's part of his sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking, God damn it, they're going to pull him out of the real world and kill him? They've tried this already.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, didn't they do that? Just like in number 1, pull him out of the dream, kill him there. But then I thought, Nancy never killed him in number 1. She pulled him out, took back her fear and everything, and just caused him to fade away. So really, maybe that was the way to get him all along?
Maybe, but I don't like it.
But then again, does everybody now have this power? Because the Doc has it, Maggie now has it. She can pull him out of the dream.
Well, getting in, it's not the pulling out of the dream; it's getting into the dream.
You know how many times? You know how many times I've hugged Cindy Crawford and she hasn't come out of my dream?
So they're in Doc's office, and he's like, I pulled this out of the dream, and Maggie's like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to get him. And Tracy's like, nah, let me go with you. And she's like, no, I got to do this by myself. And then I love this bit. Again, heart's in the right place. He hands her these 3D glasses. And this kind of took me back to It. In the first part of It, he takes his inhaler, and he says, this is battery acid. It's whatever they want it to be when they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same concept. She looks at him and she goes, well, these are fucking 3D glasses. What do you want me to do with them? And he's like, they will be whatever you need it to be so you can see through his deception.
Remind me when we first saw this movie, was it that they advertised it as a 3D movie, but the only 3D actually started when she put the glasses on, and then it ended when she took the glasses off?
Yes, which I really appreciated back then. But going into it, yeah, I think you thought the whole movie was in 3D. But I think there was a thing that said there's a part in this movie where you're supposed to put on the glasses and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Which I thought this was kind of an ingenious thing. So now she's going into the dream, and this is the part of the movie I actually kind of like. Freddy's backstory. Normally, I don't care about backstories, but I felt like after 6 movies and a little bit of mythology here and there, we finally get the backstory and we finally get to see, what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very well done, and I think it's some of my favorite bits in the film.
Because we see as a kid, he already had the serial killer traits in him when he smashes the hamster or whatever, the gerbil with the hammer.
Now, he's an unreliable narrator. Let's remember that.
Mm-hmm.
This is how he thinks his childhood was. I'm not so sure all of the kids were calling him son of 100 maniacs, mainly because how did they know he was the son of 100 maniacs?
Well, kids find out little rumors here and there. And
needless to say, it was creepy. And then we cut to him as a teenager.
Cutting himself.
And getting a whooping from his pop. And he says to his dad, what the thing about pain is? You just have to forget it's there. And he gets that evilish grin. And I thought that kid did a really good job because it's creepy.
Yeah.
And this was another one of those moments where it was supposed to be 3D. And they do this throughout this whole last bit of the movie where it's in 3D. They'll hold their arms out or the weapons or something to remind you that it's 3D, which kind of looks goofy now because it's 2D. But, and then we get the bit with Freddy at home with his wife.
Well, before that, we get one of the worst lines of the whole movie, which is after, Alice Cooper is smacking him with the belt. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
I know. It's like Animal House. So I thought it brought us a backstory that we didn't get. And now that it's finally going to be over, they're giving it to us.
Yeah.
Now had the whole, and the movie completely changes in tone as well. It's not as Looney Tunes from this point out because Freddy Krueger as normal, not burnt Freddy Krueger is fucking sinister. He is creepy. He is, he's Freddy Krueger.
He's bad dad.
Yeah. What'd you think of all the different gloves?
I thought that was interesting. I like that, we get the whole thing about what the mother saw down below, which was this secret room with all the pictures and all the gloves and, all the remnants of things he's kept from the kids.
Yeah.
And so we get to see that, he really is a child murderer.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had different gloves. I took some of them as like prototypes of what would become ultimately his favorite glove. But they had some weird contraptions down there. And it's so much darker than the whole first 2 acts of this film. And it really takes a tonal shift.
I do like when the little girl goes back up. You don't really, it's another kind of blink and miss it. You're not really paying much attention. But off in the distance, you see Freddy choking out his wife.
But I keep hearing a thunk, thunk, thunk. So I thought he was banging her head against a tree.
Oh, could be, yeah.
But yeah, and he just drops her. But think about this wife for a second, right? She meets young Freddy Krueger. She has to fall in love with him, at least love enough to have a child.
Don't you think she would have noticed all the scars on his stomach?
That's what I was thinking. She's got to be really forgiving or really not care where this guy's fucking coming from.
Or he just knocked her up and she married her, and she married him because of it.
And clearly she's terrified because she's like, I won't tell. And so, yeah, he kills mom.
But you think he must have cared about her at some point.
At some point. But I think his hunger outweighed that.
Yeah, plus he's already shown he doesn't, care about life and death. He will kill whoever.
And kill.
Yeah.
Which, how come he doesn't kill his daughter? He kills young kids. Wouldn't you think that she would have been the first?
He makes the claim at one point that his revenge against the Elm Street kids, or, parents and everything, was because they took his kid away. But they took his kid away because he was already killing kids.
Yeah, no, see, that's weak writing as well.
Yeah.
So Maggie learns the truth. She remembers everything. This is her pop. She finally goes out of his brain, and now she's in the dream. And this is kind of where we have our final showdown.
And she puts on the creepy outfit that she's wearing, the little girl's outfit, which, again, that just seemed creepy to me.
But eventually they do meet up, and then they start to have a fist fight. And some even more corny lines, right? I forgot how much pain hurt in this world when you're human.
Well,
Stop it, Freddy. Stop it.
Before that, before he goes into the real world, she has to hug him and pull him out. She wakes up.
That's right.
And he's missing.
That's right.
So they go to this locker or whatever where all these confiscated weapons are.
That the police haven't come and picked up yet, which they made it a point to tell us earlier in the film.
But I keep thinking, what kind of kids did they have at this shelter? Like one built a bat with a bunch of spikes out of it?
Pipe bombs. Yeah.
Well, pipe bombs was Spencer, apparently.
And they had crossbows and a bunch of ninja stars.
Yeah, this is just fucking what kind of kids?
But I like how, and going along with the pace of the story, I like how she says, it's not over yet because I still have these imaginary glasses on and I can still see shit. So it's not over. And so like the three of them are like, yeah, let's go get them.
But the thing too with this is all of a sudden Maggie, who's this, she's supposed to be this doctor or whatever, she's a counselor, she becomes a ninja.
This was my least favorite part of the film.
Where she goes down to confront him and they're fighting, and she's also got all these fighting skills, and she's got super aim with knives and throwing stars and spikes. And
I like, she breaks his hand and he puts it back together. She kicks off his glove, which flies at you, which should have been in 3D. And yeah, she was a fucking sharpshooter with these ninja stars.
This is where I thought redemption was finally coming for this movie, because I thought for sure the way this movie was going to end was he was passing off the glove. When he said, put it on, it's in your blood, I thought she was somehow going to become
I dig this part.
The new murderer.
Because the way she puts it on and is holding it, she does sell it. She sells it like, yeah, I could be, this could be a good fit. But no, she stabs him with it, and reminiscent to what Nancy does to him. And in the meantime, Doc and Tracy were conveniently trapped out side of the cage that they're in.
And he just happens to break the door down.
Well, yeah. Well, first, Tracy's like, here's a pipe bomb that I already lit and had no idea I could get this to you in time. So she takes it, she stuffs it in Freddy's chest, and after 6 films, after everything we've seen, after everything Freddy has done, his final words are, kids. And boom, he blows up, which reminded me of Jaws 3 when the shark blows up.
And this effect of his face, opening up to another face, opening up to whatever, and then the dream, that to me right there was the bad CGI that really bugged me.
Yeah, that was bad CGI. I didn't like the Dream Demon concept. I liked the concept. I liked the idea. I didn't like the execution. They look like sperm, like you were saying. I didn't like those guys, and I didn't like after he blew up, they were talking to him. Like, oh no, what are we going to do now? Blah, blah, blah.
They looked like bad Muppets to me.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something worse, but no, Bad Muppets is a good representation.
Yeah, and just, they weren't scary. They didn't even look like the things on the posters.
Yeah,
like these big snake things.
Yeah, but nothing about this movie was scary. So
yeah. They were just big eel things.
Yeah, which was dumb.
Yeah.
And so Freddy's dead, and we have to have one of the most cheesiest lines ever when she says, Freddy's dead. And then that's it. That's our Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it's the only movie not to end on a cliffhanger because he's supposed to be gone.
That's right.
And we get this montage.
And if you think about it, it really is, at the moment, it really is the end of the franchise series. It is the end of the Freddy Krueger storyline, if you will. When we get to New Nightmare, it becomes something different.
Yeah, and the whole thing, the box office, the opening box office receipts and everything, that's what saved it. They were really going to end it with that. But when they saw how much money they made off of, this movie, they thought, I guess we could do a few more.
That might have been partial the reason. The other reason was when we do New Nightmare, but Bob, after this came out and it was critically panned and people didn't like it, Bob Shea calls Wes Craven out of the blue and says, look, I heard you do a couple of interviews. You were kind of raw about how we left things. Let me make things right. He gave him points, bunch of stuff with the rest of the franchise. And then he said, maybe you can give us one more. And that's where New Nightmare comes from.
Yeah, and he must have given him complete control because it was such a divergence. I thought and we'll get to it when we get to the next one, but it brought me back. I was basically done with Freddy after this movie. I was so pissed off by this movie. It brought me back, and Jason versus Freddy cemented it for me.
Yeah, it didn't piss me off. Fans, or listeners, who's a bigger fan, me or John?
Well, you just take the bad with the good, I guess. I don't know.
All right, what do you think? You ready to rate this flick?
I am so ready to put this one to sleep for good.
Hey, Professor, that motherfucker is still riding around in the van.
He really didn't want to review this movie.
Oh, God. We review our movies from a scale of 0 to 5 fucks. 0 is the worst. 5 is cinematic gold. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I can go first if you like.
All right, hit me.
But before I do,
yes, sir.
What is my rating on this movie?
This is your least favorite. You were giving Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, a quarter of a fuck.
I will give you a hint on this.
Okay.
We have agreed this is the worst of the series. The reboot is the absolute worst.
No, well, yeah, we don't count the reboot.
So,
we don't even have to say that anymore because the reboot does not count.
So I'm just saying I had to go a little higher than the reboot. And I don't remember for sure exactly what I gave the reboot, but I went with what I think is just higher than the reboot.
You're going to give Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, 2.25 fucks.
God, you're giving it a lot of credit.
Okay, yeah. Final answer.
No,
you're giving it 1.25 fucks.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Okay. I've got endless love for Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. The man is the franchise. But this just isn't his strongest outing in the role. The Freddy one-liners are amusing here and there, but not nearly sharp enough to prop up the whole movie. Most of the cast feels forgettable or easily replaceable, which made it hard to care about anything happening in this movie. For what was billed to be the big finale, it doesn't feel like a fitting send-off at all. It barely connects to what came before, and instead comes off like a quick cash-in than a thoughtful wrap-up. The Dream Demons, which look like rejected Muppets, are impossible to take seriously. Out of the entire series, this one sits firmly at the bottom for me. It's for those reasons I'm giving Freddy's Dead 1.25 fucks.
Damn, fucking nailed it. Look at me. Yay.
Yeah, you got it right there. You were right on it.
Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare is not my least favorite of the series, though it is not really that great of a movie. The first 2 acts are horseshit. I would like to say that the third act redeems it. I don't know if redeems is the right word. It doesn't completely sink it. How about that? I like the idea of the third act. I liked his backstory. I liked the fact that they gave him a daughter and she was the protagonist after all. I think the characters, as far as the kids, were your run-of-the-mill characters. I like Tracy, even though she was a little bit over in acting. The score was paid homage to the old movies. To me, this felt more like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than number 5. But that's just me. And so it's for those reasons I'm giving Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, 1.25 fuck. So with 1.25 fucks from both John and myself, that gives Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare an average of 1.25 fuck, which now puts it in the 41st spot by itself. It is slightly better than Waiting, Nothing But Trouble, Friday the 13th, the original, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Nightmare on Elm Street remakes. And it is slightly worse than 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, Rock of Ages, The Natural, and Cocaine Bear. Ooh, and you should be happy. A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
That was better than this?
Yeah, you gave it a higher score. You gave it a 2.25. So a whole point above. So there you go. There you go. All right. We have done 6 of them. Does your rank still stay the same?
Yeah, and I know that you and your daughter, I think, disagree with me, but for me, 3 is still the top one. I loved 3 the best. I could watch 3 anytime, followed by 1, followed by probably 4, followed by 2, 5, 6.
2, 5, 6. What about 7?
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the first 6 movies.
Oh, I kind of did
If you
say
include-
that.
if
Yeah,
you-
but yeah, throw in 7. Because I know you like 7.
7, I would put in the top 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would probably I'd go 3, 1, 7.
See,
But if you throw in Freddy versus Jason, that's getting up really up near the top.
I don't count that part of the Nightmare on Elm Street series per se because it's borrowed. It's it's Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, right? It'll get a high grade because it's a fun film.
Mhm.
But my ranking goes 1, 3, 7, 4, 2, 6, and 5. So there you go.
6 and 5. Okay.
Yeah. Watching 2 again more recently, I liked it better than previous viewings.
I feel like that one had heart. I know where they were trying to go with it. It just didn't work out right because it broke too many Freddy rules.
Yeah. That is going to wrap it up for this episode of 3 Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, hey, John, where can they find us?
They can find us at 3guysinaflick.com, where you can find our show notes on all of our episodes and a web form on there that you can submit a movie to go into the Bronco Hamas to have us review. You can also find us at all of social media, where on Tuesdays on Facebook and X, I've gone ahead and posted what movie we are releasing on that following Thursday. And you can also find us at any place that hosts podcasts. In fact, while you're listening to us, give us a like, give us a rating, and if you want to leave a comment in the comments, you can put a movie you'd like us to review.
Speaking of comments, what do we got this week there, John?
This week's comment comes from Jesper from Denmark. He is asking us to review A Fish Called Wanda. That is an interesting movie. I don't know if I remember if I like it or hate it.
Oh, I loved it.
I remember it was just weird.
I loved it.
Kevin Kline and
Jamie Lee
Curtis. His comment is, a big hello from Denmark. We are international. I wanted to say how much I enjoy your show. I really love the format where you retell the story and pause along the way to dive into details and discussion. It works incredibly well. Your banter feels natural and relaxed, which makes it genuinely enjoyable to listen to. Which podcast is he listening to?
I don't fucking know.
My movie suggestion is A Fish Called Wanda. It popped in my head when I was listening to your show. I remember finding it very funny and loving it at the time. But I have no idea how well it holds up today. So I'm curious what you think. Thanks for a great podcast and keep up the excellent work. Thank you, Jesper.
Please consider A Fish Called Wanda in the Broncos helmet. And hey, don't call me stupid.
And apparently, the entire cast of Scream wants us to do Scream 2. That one in the helmet as well.
Oh, that's right. Stu and Billy and I think it was Sam. So thanks for throwing that in there, cast of characters from Scream. Scream 2 is, in fact, in the Bronco helmet. 6 down, 2 to go, and then we can put Freddy to bed forever.
You know, I was dreading us reviewing this movie, but I knew we had to get past this one to get to the next 2, which I think are gems in the series.
Oh, I agree. I was very pleasantly surprised with both of the upcoming films.
Mhm.
So I can't wait to get there. I want to thank anyone who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For 3 Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
And I'm John.
And thanks for listening, bitch.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, dive into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Dawn as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops now to shedding light on what the comics bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd, we break it down, make sure you're heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know we always give a fuck, no lie.
Carlos calls Spencer, like his insult that comes up, calls him a hi-ho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they're getting ready to leave.
Yeah. I was thinking that should be your new nickname, hi-ho.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I like that. You can call me a hoe. You can call me whatever you want.
You hi-ho.
Over again.
You have to start that quote, though, with the Freddy laugh.
Why?
Because he laughs, and then he says the line.
So I don't have to do it exact.
Yeah, but
You like to pimp me out for my Freddy laugh. I don't think it's that great.
You do a great job.
We're just going to give this guy more fodder. It doesn't fucking matter.
But we want to make this movie count.
It does count. It counts in the pantheon. I'm sorry, it does. You know what?
Sadly, you're correct.
You know what? I know. Let's just get started, then we can
Trash it.
Yeah, then we can talk shit constructively about it.
Did you want to say Nightmare on Elm Street 6, Freddy's Dead?
No, that's not the name of the movie.
I thought it's listed as Nightmare on Elm Street 6, Freddy's Dead. No?
I'm shocked I have to have this conversation with you.
Didn't that happen in number 1? My glasses were making the noise.
Yeah, they were. What were they fucking saying?
Message from Six Down.
Quit scratching, dude. You got to put lotion on it.
I got sticky stuff still on, and I'm trying to get the sticky stuff off. I just took the plastic off today.
Oh, so it's the remnants?
Yeah.
Yeah, take a shower. But non-perfumed.
Yeah, I've got
lotion.
all the Aquaquil
accoutrement.
Stone in movies. I think we're almost about to hit 250.
I thought we were past 250.
Are we?
I don't know.
I think we're at 2.
You run the fucking website.
I think I just posted 247 or 248.
I don't know.
It's your call.
Why? Why is it my call?
Because you're the host with the most.
Get your tongue out of my asshole, Gary. All right. What do you got?
I have a few. They all start with Wet Dream on Elm Street.
Okay.
My first one is Freddy's Head, the final night whore.
I have Freddy Gives Head, Your Final Nightmare.
That would be a nightmare, especially if he uses his claw.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
I have Freddy's Bed, the night score. And I have Freddy's Spread, the final night moan.
Huh. All right. So, which one?
I have to go with Freddy's Head, the final night whore. I don't know.
All right. How many tissues?
This is a one tissue.
I agree. I think it's only. I
Wait,
think it's a one and done.
Do you want to watch a burned up porn star?
Well, I didn't say that. All I'm saying is it's a one and done.
Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah.
And may all your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right, fuck off. Good night.
Catch the vibe as three guys in a flick, keep the passion alive.